Amazing. I can really, really feel your purpose connection to this cause and this lifestyle. And so there's so much that you can then do with that to bring it to others. So I am so excited that you're here, and we are streaming inside my private community. And so I know that your message will be such an inspiration to other women, but more importantly, this is really your time. You're a busy mom, you're going to school, you're doing a lot of things. And so this is a space that I create to give back to women that are on a mission. So the next 30 or so minutes is really fully your time. If there is something that you've been feeling that is on your mind or your heart that you would love to have a breakthrough around, we can go there. But it really doesn't have to be anything intentional. We can just go on an adventure together as well.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, is there anything that's on your mind that you would love to kind of work through today?
Yeah, there's a lot of things on my mind. And thank you for allowing this and reaching out to me about it, because it's something that you can't just talk about with anybody. Like, maybe you don't feel comfortable, or they just won't understand or won't be able to give you good feedback. So this is special. So one thing, I guess this is like something that's important, something that I'm still trying to figure out, is like balancing all areas of life, like, which by that I mean like focusing on and working on my vision, because I have two separate things that I'm like growing right now. They're like seeds, you have to water them and constantly nurture them. And then also I have my son, so that's like another priority, and my well-being too, and studying. And so I'm like trying to figure out like ways to balance it all, because I think I just like overwhelm myself sometimes, because which I know that by focusing on all the things that you not necessarily have to do, but that you should and want to do, it can be a big list. And just seeing all of those tasks, that can overwhelm you and make you feel kind of paralyzed. And that's how I feel sometimes. So I notice I'm better off when I just don't even think about the big list. I just start one small task and just do small things, because they all add up. But that's one thing I'm thinking about. So if you have any tips on that, and then after that I'll go on to the next one.
Awesome. Yeah, let's start here. So tell me a little bit about what those small steps are that you've managed to take that actually feel good, feel aligned, and feel like you're getting the right stuff done.
Mm-hmm. So web design, I have two separate websites, two Pinterest accounts that I try to repost and find new stuff on there. That I mean, it seems like a lot, but it's not that much. But I guess so. Yeah, the web design, writing out and planning what I want to focus on and what I want to talk about. And like, let's say on the other page, it's called Holistic Mamahood. Like if I want to make a graphic, that takes some time, about 30 minutes or so. So making that, so planning that out, focusing on what I want to talk about, writing. So like writing blog posts, and sharing it, of course. And then trying to be active with that. So it's not like, because I started it and I don't want it to just be like, okay, started it, and so now I'm just going to disappear for a little bit. Like I want it to be consistent.
Sure. So content creation right now is a priority for you because it's important. It's important to you to continue to get your message out there and build your community and all of that. Is that right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So, and what we know with that is the more you do that, it leads to client creation, right? And so with coaching, really the most important thing that you're going to do when you really launch the business is find clients to work with, right?
Yeah.
So what is really, really helpful is kind of looking at the things that you think that you should be doing and just asking yourself, does this lead to a client creation? Yes or no? And if it doesn't, you really don't need to do it right now.
Hmm. Right.
So
Um,
when we think of it in that way, so there's the client creation bucket, which content is a big part of.
yeah.
What are the other couple of things that are super important for you to do and tend to every day? Personal wise, business wise, what comes to mind?
Mhm. Taking care of Ezra, number one. Cleaning, making sure I have like a nice space to be in, so I don't feel just super like overwhelmed. Studying is also a priority. So basically, like my health, like eating good food, making sure I'm being active and taking care of him and studying and writing down every idea that I get that I know is a good message. Those are some of the top priorities other than creating like different things.
Got it. So if you were able to tend to those things most days, would it feel like a really good day?
Yeah, I feel like I do that mostly every day. Whether it's just on paper or actually digital, I feel even like productive just writing all of it down. Just because that's the beginning point, and from there it can like progress into something.
Beautiful. So walk me through your day, and
Mm-hmm.
when you're bringing all of those pieces into your day, how does that flow? So you get
Um,
up, then what happens?
so it's really hard for me to make a consistent schedule because I have a baby and he's 7 months and it's unpredictable. Like he'll sleep when he wants to sleep. I can't like put him to sleep anymore. He doesn't take naps that much anymore. So, and also he's starting to crawl and he doesn't want to be laying down. He wants attention. Like if I'm on my laptop, he will start like screaming at me. He'll be like, ah, like crying. And then I pick him up and he calms down. So sometimes it's hard to like stay with the same thing. So every day it's really different. It's really when I have like the time, then I'll focus on one of those things that I just said. So like when he's sleeping, that's the time when I'll do one of those things. When he's calm and he's playing and he doesn't want my attention, then that's when I'll do it. But then it's like it's not always going to be for a set amount of time also because it's unpredictable when he'll be fussy or like need something. So then I have
Sure.
to tend to that. So I mostly will study at night, and in the daytime that's when I'll focus on like writing things, cooking, like eating, doing the things for me and him, and also writing things down or making graphics or things like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I try to like keep studying at night when he's sleeping. That way I can actually like focus on it.
So I'm hearing that you kind of right now you have to get things in where they fit in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And before he came, how were you used to working and creating? Were you like a structured person? Were you like, did you have a schedule? How did that look?
Um, I'm actually it's unpredictable in ways like because I stay up really late. Like I would stay up until like maybe 1 a.m. sometimes. I love waking up early, but sometimes at night I'll get like a creative burst and I'll have to be working on that. And sometimes that can take like hours. So like when I was doing like web creation, like web design, I probably spent 40 hours on it and I still don't like how it is. So I was like focusing on that. And also before he came to, like I said, I wasn't studying. I like knew to my core what my purpose was, but I didn't really know or make like the steps that I needed to because I was so like in a bad mental state. I was just so tired all the time. Like I was pregnant, I was exhausted, I couldn't sleep good. And I was just kind of like anxious, like, okay, he's going to come out any day now. And I had a home birth and I didn't know what to expect. And so I kind of just like slept a lot, honestly, and like walked whenever I had the chance.
So, what I'm hearing from you is you're a pretty flexible and adaptable person,
Definitely. Yeah.
which actually works really well for this new chapter you're in as a new mom, going to school, building a business, because what you're able to do better than maybe the average person is maximize these fragments of time that you have without having it to be like structured and perfect.
Yeah.
A really good thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that hits it spot on. Like, and I've kind of just had to be that way based on my life. I've moved like, also this is something that's important that I should probably add. This is like the first time that I'm settling down somewhere in the last 5 years. I've moved like 11 times or more in the last 5 to a different state each time. So I just haven't been stable. And is well, I mean, I feel like I've been stable mentally, but like physically, I haven't been like in a stable spot to like make it my space and like, it's just been like, okay, I'm living in my suitcase and I've lost a lot of material objects along the way, cars and everything. And I'm just so unattached to those things. So I think that's what helps me to be like flexible because I've had to be.
That is such an incredible gift that you are going to be able to give to your clients.
Yeah, I know. I feel like a lot of people can't really do that as easily because I mean, I've moved so much and it's like it's not easy to do that for some people because they're so attached to their house or their job or their family or whatever it is. But I just know everything's temporary, so I just knew I could always go and visit them, and I always did. And so that's what I kind of just focus on, like the positive things of it.
That's such a great place to come from in having this perspective that things are temporary and fleeting, and it will serve you so well as a business owner.
Yeah.
So well.
Hmm. Yeah, I've seen like different quotes, like especially like being a business owner, it's like things have their own season, like so I think it's like being able to accept that and know that things can get better. They're not always going to be like down here, they're fluctuating. It's like a mountain, like the slopes, and there's plateaus and there's peaks.
So you, in a way, just answered your very initial question in the beginning, which was, how do I find balance? And I was hoping, well, we were guiding you to get you there on your own, right? So I'm glad we're here, because it's probably not going to be a balance. It's going to become a harmonization. And so this is really about understanding for you the things that fill you up. So if it's content creation, getting your message out there, connecting with people, taking care of your son, fueling and nourishing your body, keeping a clean home, you know, all the things that are really important to keep you full. And some days you might do some of those things better than the others, but really just being okay with this new normal, that like, what if the goal was getting in harmony with life right now, instead of balance, because that just might not be where you're heading.
Yeah. And also I was wondering, is that even a thing? Like, because every day is so different. For me, at least. I know some people have like a set schedule, like 9 to 5, work, dinner, TV, sleep, but I think every day for me is like, whatever happens, I just go with it.
You're what I hear you say is you're already living in harmony. You're connected to your purpose. You have a very clear set of values and things that are important to you, and you live into them and embody them every day. So you are already in this harmonization with life. It might just be this quest for balance because you've heard or you've been told that you should desire balance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When maybe balance isn't your jam. I know it's not mine.
Yeah. Oh
It's
my God.
a lot of creative entrepreneurs. We're not really balanced. We're just living this epic life that's in harmonization. It just flows.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's kind of like I mentioned my mom. She tries to give me advice. So she's like, okay, well, now that you have a baby, you can't be traveling all the time or moving. And I'm just like, and I kind of like believed her at first, but then I was like, that's what you think, but that's what you believe. But that isn't the truth, maybe for her, but I was just thinking, like, why not? Like, if I want to, I can.
So one thing I want to give you that you can use when you're faced with someone putting a perspective or opinion on you and trying to get you to buy into that, you just get to ask yourself, is this ultimately true?
Yeah.
Is it ultimately true that I can't or shouldn't travel with my new son? If that does not feel like an expansive choice, don't do it. But everything, like, your desires are there for a reason, and this is your business and your life that you're creating, and you really get to create whatever it is that you want. If
Yeah.
taking your baby and traveling to wherever you want to travel to feels really good, you get to do that because you're just going to attract more good stuff, because that's the energy you'll be
Yeah.
vibrating at.
Yeah, exactly. I know. And it does feel good. So I know, like, I'm going to do it. Like, I wish, I want to show him as much as I can and teach him what I wish I knew or saw at a young age.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And also, the second thing was, since I'm just like, I'm living here now, I'm not planning on, moving to Washington or Chicago or anything, or anywhere else for that matter. I'm figuring out, or like thinking about how, like, in what ways could I make an impact locally too, like, about what I want to raise awareness about. Those are things I'm thinking of doing, and like, how, like, where should I start?
Have you been guided to anything in particular?
Well, I've been thinking about, I know there's a farmer's market here. I was looking into that kind of, or maybe like I was thinking of doing like a workshop on some type of like niche topic, like that's for a specific group of people instead of like something broad, just for like a special group of people. And I guess I'm trying to figure out like where would that be at? How can I do that? There's a couple places that come to mind that I know they do like yoga classes and things like that, but I just don't know how it would work yet. I've never done that, but that's something that I feel like I really want to do.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So what I love to do is, you mentioned earlier that you'll often get these ideas that just kind of pop into your head and you like to get them down on paper. And so
Mhm.
what I would encourage you to do is really, really meditate on the places that you're feeling called to show up and to create something special in the local community. And as these ideas come to you, just have its own separate little spot or a spreadsheet or whatever, and just start adding your ideas to that list.
Yeah, like its own separate book or journal.
Yes.
Yeah.
The truth is you can really, you can take your message and deliver it really anywhere. I mean, anywhere that makes
Mhm.
sense. You're not going to go
Yeah.
to a butcher.
Oh, yeah.
But and
Yeah.
trust that the places that are showing up for you, you're really being led to those places for a reason.
Mhm.
So if there are yoga studios, that could be an incredible way to get your message out there and be in front of a captive audience. And you really get to create what that looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. I mean, this is something different, but um, like when I was in Chicago, like I also like writing poetry, so I would go to open mics or poetry readings or creative writing readings or things like that. And there's really nothing like that here. So that's also something um there's like this really cool cafe here, and I've asked them, I was like, hey, do you guys do open mics? And they're like, oh no, like we want to start doing more events. So that's also something I want to see if like I can talk to the owner about and see if we can like set an open mic up or something so people here also have a voice, whether they want to share their poetry, their music, or just a message or whatever it is. um so yeah, there's like just different things, because I know like the ultimate goal in something I really love doing is like, or something I would love doing is continuing to not be attached to a place, but like while I'm here, I might as well try to impact as much as I can here in this space. Because I know like doing it online is really cool and good, but I think also it needs that, like we need that here, since we don't have it here, because there's so many fast food places here. It's just, it's where I'm at is like surrounded by fruit fields, dairy farms, and like people don't really know much about like plant-based lifestyles. There's a lot of like Hispanic communities, they don't really know about that. Like my family's part of that. Like they all look at me like a unicorn, like, oh, she doesn't eat meat. And I always am like, they're always like, oh, when are you going to back to Chicago? Or like they just think I'm like passing by, like so. And there's a lot of people also that I think it would be helpful for, because it's more than just health. It's like the planet we're living on needs more of that. And I think being able to be a voice for that is something that I really want to be.
Mhm. I sense this really beautiful like responsibility piece coming from you. Like you really feel like a steward of this bigger message. And it's really important for you to get out there and to have a local impact first and really, really, educate people on this topic.
Yeah, yeah, because when I first became vegan, I was like an aggressive vegan. Like I remember I had a boyfriend and I was like, you know, I can't date you because you eat meat. Like I broke up with or like being around people who ate meat, I'd be like, hey, did you know that, you know, red meat has a lot of like carcinogens? It's kind of eating a cigarette basically, or just little things, but that's not the way to, that's not, I realize that's not how you inspire people to change. That's kind of just putting them down, you know? You kind of have to lift them up. Hey, you know, you could feel really good, you know, if you give up red meat or if you try to give up meat for a week, see how you feel, or, you know. So, yeah, I definitely have come a long way from that. That was I was just so passionate about it and I was just like so like angry at like the whole like meat industries and dairy industries, and I was like, why are they doing this to us? Why are we eating this? And I just didn't know how to express that, I guess.
Hmm. Yeah, that comes with growth and maturity, like anything.
Yeah. And then
So, what would you love to look back on and say, maybe it's a year from now, whatever, what would you love to have created and feel really, really good about in your current community?
um so locally,
Sure.
I would say having having a stand at the farmers market would be really cool, and being able to have like raw vegan treats or like different oil blends, like roller blends, and being able to educate people on that and spread awareness on that. And also like having online, being able to spread that message and help people who need it and who want it.
Hmm.
Um, yeah.
So you mentioned having a stand at the farmers market and having different treats there. Does that mean, are you also wanting to get into the actual like preparation of the food and do that as well?
I love making raw treats, so I definitely wouldn't mind it since it's the farmers market's twice a week, so it wouldn't be like a big, um, it wouldn't be like a big, how do I say it? A big take, I guess. Like it wouldn't involve like that much time, I don't think.
So what would need to happen to take a step forward in that? Would it be calling the whoever's running the farmers market? What would you need to do to make that happen?
Well, the first thing is finding a commercial kitchen, a sanitary kitchen to be able to make that, like the food. I know at a farmer's market, you can only bring stuff that is homemade. But so if it's for food, then you have to have like different like licenses, like to be able to sell it or even have it there for samples or anything. And also, I think that would be a good way to get to know people here locally and also meet them and talk to them about it because they would probably be interested in trying it. And then I could, you know, make connections that way too in person.
Yeah. Does finding the commercial kitchen feel like a doable next step, or is that going to involve a lot of different things?
Um, well, the thing is, in some places they have like community ones where they rent them out. There's none of that here where I'm at. There's one an hour away. So I guess I'm trying, one thing I'm looking into is like, would that be a good option, or would I be able to potentially like go to a local cafe and ask them, since they have like their kitchen space is um like licensed and sanitized and everything. um Maybe I was thinking, could I go there and like ask them if I could rent it out when they're not or like when they're, I don't know, I guess I'm trying to figure out that like there's a place down the street from where I live. They make like sandwiches and like fruit cups, and they have like that kitchen space in the back, but it's only for cold food, so raw food would be perfect. So I was thinking maybe I can ask him, the owner, if I could go in and like rent it out for a couple hours and like make something in there. I think that would work, maybe, if I didn't, so I don't have to go an hour away to do that. So I guess that's something I'm like looking into, or like trying to figure out. I wanted to ask him next time I go in, because I met him the first time I went in there and we like chatted for a while. And so I feel open to asking him. I don't feel like nervous about it. I feel good about asking him.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that's something that I'm looking into. And then also, I know like how important, like, for example, having like an ideal client, that's probably like the most important thing, right? To attracting them, because you have to know who you're trying to help and speak to. And so recently, that's something I've been like thinking about, because I wanted to incorporate eating plant-based, but then I was like, well, I know not many people might be into that. And so then I was open to like working with people who just want to feel good and change their lifestyle. But then I realized I really need to stay true to like my belief, and I know there's going to be people who do want to give up meat and stuff, and so I know I can help them.
Yeah, so many. So many. So you can always position yourself as a health coach with a raw vegan specialty.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, as you grow in your coaching, that will constantly evolve.
Yeah.
You get to figure out what feels best and most aligned, but that could be a starting point for you. So you're putting out there, yes, I'm a health coach, but I also like I really, really focus in this, and you'll naturally attract the people that are really interested in that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're like, maybe I'm thinking there's not many because I don't know many people personally, but that's like the difference between being able to reach more people on the internet. There's so many more people than I know. And so I think there's a lot of people that probably would need help changing that part, like figuring out how to give up meat, what to eat, or things like that. And I do know, I mean, I know that everyone is bio individual. Like sometimes eating or not eating meat doesn't work for people. So that's something that I am conscious of also. So that's something that like I'm not against it necessarily, because some people kind of just do better on it, I guess. But then again, I don't know the science behind it, so maybe
Yeah.
they're just doing the wrong things. maybe they just did the wrong thing, so who knows.
Well, and these are all things that you'll become more skilled at the more that you coach. And that's just, what happens. Um, and the thing is, you have something that the world is shifting, and there's never been a bigger time to talk about veganism, where people are curious, people are wanting to know how to do it, what it means, how to create that lifestyle. So you have an abundance of people.
Mhm.
You have such a captive audience online. It's really just about, like you said in the beginning, building that consistency with getting
Mhm.
your message out there, and people are going to start to notice.
Yeah, that's true. Mhm.
So on the consistency part with the content creation, I wanted to ask you about Tailwind. Are you using that for Pinterest?
Yeah, I have it. I actually used the first month free and I haven't renewed it yet. So I've been doing it manually, like once that expired, because I didn't have a debit card. So now that I do, like, that's something that I'm going to get back on because I know there's Tailwind for Pinterest and Instagram.
Yes. So
Mhm.
if you can, that could be such a crucial investment for you to make. I think it's like $100 for the year. There's different plans,
Oh, really? Mhm.
but you can then optimize both platforms and really repurpose content.
Mhm.
And you can batch all of that in one, like maybe not in one sitting because you have your son, but
Yeah.
you can really, really create things in bulk and save yourself a lot of time. So that could be a
Mhm.
really helpful resource.
Yeah, definitely. I think I was also one thing with Tailwind, I was having so much trouble. Like, I didn't really know how to use it. And even with the tutorials, I was just like kind of confused still. So
Yeah.
that's something I need to like master because before I end up like paying for it, I want to make sure I know what I'm doing. That way I'm using it and I'm not just like paying for it and it's just there, you
Yeah,
know?
totally. And if you have questions, just PM me and I can walk you through it too. It's a really user-friendly site that they've developed. So it does
Yeah.
take a little bit of time to get into it, but once you do, forget about it. You can just
Yeah.
be totally in flow, have all your content loaded in there, and just out into the world. It is such a great feeling.
Yeah. Also one thing I was like thinking a lot about is so with my account, it's called Exposing My Aura. I like came up with that name 5 years ago because it was my Tumblr username. And I just really, really liked it. And I guess it has evolved. The meaning for me has evolved. And it's like I didn't realize what it was until maybe like 2 years ago. That's when I was like, okay, I subconsciously like came up with this because it has a bigger vision and meaning for myself. And it's basically like your aura is like your energy field and it's not the physical part of you. So that's kind of something I was like focusing on. So like if you go back on my posts, there's no pictures of me. It's just like things, you know? And so I was like, okay, people probably don't know. Like, I have a lot of people that follow me that I've known from like school or I met them traveling or whatever. So they know who I am, but like they don't, there's like, oh, like what does she look like now? You know, like it's like on stories, yeah, but like I just like never was the type of person to take like a selfie and post it because that's something that like exposing my aura was like for me to like expose my like soul, I guess you could say, like things that I want to share, things that I'm passionate about, um things that I am like doing, but I just didn't want it to be like all my face. But I'm thinking like, is that necessary to be able to connect more with people? Like, do I need to post my pictures of my face or like will people feel, because I know we're naturally drawn to that, but like I don't know how to start that. Like I only have pictures that people take of me and Ezra, and so I guess so many years like not posting selfies, it just seems it would be weird for me to start or something.
So the thing with social media is you have to allow it to feel super authentic for you.
Hmm.
I could tell you to start posting only selfies. I would never tell you to do that.
Yeah.
I could tell you to do that. And if that's not authentically how you want to show up online, you're not going to do it. And it's going to, like, your audience will pick up on that, that it's not authentic. And you're not going to build your brand that way anyway. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this is really about, how do you want to be seen online? And this will always evolve.
Yeah, true.
So
Yeah.
if it feels in integrity to take a selfie and create a really awesome caption and post it
Mhm.
tomorrow, girl, go do that. But you
Yeah.
really get to curate your feed in a way that feels exciting to you, because that is how it will land for the people who get to see it.
Yeah. True. And also like I guess I really do like doing like stories and like spoken words and things like that, but I think I like that more than like I don't want my whole like page to be like me, because
Hmm.
it's more than me. Like I'm kind of irrelevant in it. It's like not about me at all.
Yeah, and
So
this is
that
really where the altruism comes through in you. You're just so you're connected to the planet. Like it's a much bigger conversation, and I can
yeah.
so appreciate that. It's a beautiful thing. So maybe for you, if we're looking at Instagram, maybe stories is the place where Tam shows up as Tam, and maybe it's the feed where it's still, the aura and the feel
Uh-huh.
and the education, maybe you could
Yeah.
play with it like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's something I guess I was thinking about. I was like, do I like should I, or like I was just questioning that. Like I just didn't know if it was important because like everyone has their own take on it, and I've seen different things where people are like, well, in order to have people feel connected to you, they need to like know who you are, see you, like that. And so um I was just confused.
Yeah, and here's the thing, you will start to show up and be visible in your own way. And maybe that, like I said, with stories, maybe that's the place where you show up as you, and that's the spoken word, and that's the stuff that wants to come through you,
Yeah.
physically. And so your people following you will connect with and see you there. They don't
Yeah,
necessarily have to do that in the feed, but I'm
true.
not going to deny that, yes, being visible, showing your face is how people really do fully connect. But you can create this in whatever way feels most aligned for you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's so weird that the song, it's called Adventures. It just keeps coming on by itself.
I love it. Well, I think that is it's just a sign, and it's a theme for your life right now. You are certainly on an adventure. And I think
Yeah.
also it's motivation to know that you are on path. And all of these little micro adventures that you're wanting to create for your local community, they're showing up for a reason. So
Yeah.
have that conversation with that guy at the store,
Yeah.
continue to show up online in your way, and yeah,
True.
you'll make it
Yeah.
happen.
That Thank you. I know, I feel like every idea I get, it's not like sometimes I don't write it down. Sometimes I forget, but that doesn't mean it wasn't like a great idea. I just get like so many different things. Like I feel like I could be like an idea coach, like tell like if they're just like, I don't know what to do. I'll just be like, okay, what do you like doing? Okay, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's the common plight that a lot of visionary entrepreneurs face. So those ideas will never
mhm.
stop pouring into you. The shift for
Yeah.
you as you grow and evolve is shifting into idea mode into inspired action mode. So starting to
Mhm.
get really clear as to which ideas are leading you into inspired action, because without the action, we're not really going to get anywhere.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly.
And that'll get more clear and kind of effortless as you continue on in your journey.
Yeah, true. I know. I think the reason I'm like starting now and figuring this out now is so I have a head start on things, and because I'm just like so consumed by it, like I just want to do it now. Like, and so I'm not actually going to be able to start working with anyone till April, which is, it's only about a month away, but I don't want to wait until like I'm done with IIN and then start trying to build a type of voice and stuff. So I'm starting to figure out what I can do now to get it going.
So I want to give you a couple homework ideas that you can play with, and we'll kind of wrap it up there. So that gives you an entire oh my gosh, an entire month of March to really, really leverage your abilities and your expertise with veganism and health coaching and all of that. Okay. So how can you find people to just start maybe offering a free coaching session for? Or it doesn't have to be free, like do what feels good. But
Yeah.
the key thing is that you understand all of your knowledge. Most people don't even have any of that as far as it relates to coaching and veganism. So this, like all of this in here, you can get that out there now. You don't need a certificate to do that. So that could look like just offering free sessions, if that feels good, having the conversations and getting talks or events on the books. You can have all of that going in March, and then launch your business in April feeling even more confident and courageous and ready to really, really make it happen, because you've already built a lot of that muscle.
Yeah, exactly.
So just
That's
have fun with that and think about who you could reach out to, and
yeah.
how you can just start having the conversations. That's what it's about.
Do you think it's more ideal to like reach out to people that I personally know could need the help and would like it, or like kind of publicly announcing it, like, oh, if anyone like wants some help, or like that way, like
Yeah, so try both. You're going to start to discover what your audience responds to. And so you can just very simply say, hey guys, I'm so excited to let you know that this is what I've been up to. I'm looking to take a couple people through this process. It is incredible. I have spots for 5 complimentary sessions or whatever. If you or anyone you know would benefit from this, PM me, call me, text me, whatever. That's it.
Yeah, true.
And it's your passion. You are so passionate about what you're doing. That is going to capture people. Even like maybe it's someone that's kind of been thinking about going vegan, but hasn't really, pushed the button on it. And then they see you show up in your aura, in your amazingness, in your energy, and it's divine timing. So follow and you will be golden.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
I feel good about it. Yeah, I'm going to do that this week.
So excited for you.
So cool. Well, thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. And yeah, if you have any troubles with the tailwind, just